First story up today, Cameron Diaz on her return to acting. No more rom-coms, only mom-coms. So Cameron Diaz is a talented actress. Okay. One of my favorites, if I'm being honest. Like I really enjoy watching her in movies. And since rom-coms are one of my favorite movies to watch, she's basically done a few of them. Obviously, fan. Me and Cameron, we're here. She just doesn't know it yet, but we're here. So she actually took a 10-year hiatus from Hollywood. So she was been MIA since 2014, I believe was her last movie with Annie, which she did with Jamie Foxx. Coincidentally, she is returning to do another movie with Jamie Foxx. And the movie is called Back in Action. This is about a duo, Emily and Matt, a seemingly ordinary suburban couple whose past lives as elite CIA agents come back to haunt them when their cover gets spectacularly blown. I am already on board. Take my money. I don't even need to see a trailer. I'm here. You have Jamie Foxx, you have Cameron Diaz, you have former CIA agents, and what I can only assume is a comedy. What are we talking about? I need no other convincing. So let's see. So what has Cameron been doing the last 10 years? Raising a family. And with former Good Charlotte guitarist husband, Benji Madden. I guess it's a band. Good Charlotte's a band. It was the Fox factor that swung her cinematic comeback. She said, I thought that if I was going to come back and do a movie, the only person I'd come back and do it with would be this guy, Jamie Foxx. Seriously, I had other opportunities along the way and I was always saying, no, I'm not doing it. I've told you. Wait, what? Jamie? Jamie asked? Jamie? Oh, I can do it for Jamie. I don't blame her. Jamie Foxx is he's not even a trifecta. What's after a trifecta? He can act, he can sing, he can play instruments, he can do impressions, he can do comedy, he can do drama. Can he dance? That might be the only thing I don't think he can do, or I've seen him do.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there you go.
I feel lucky and blessed that I was able to work with Cameron, shares Foxx, reflecting on his experience making Back in Action with the former Charlie's Angels actor. Wow. So first of all, if he's excited and she's excited, you already know the chemistry on set, the atmosphere is going to be great. And a fun set usually translates to a fun, good movie. When they're having fun, we're having fun. Now, what the question means is she back for good? Is this her official return to Hollywood? And she says it's hard to say. If I say it, then it becomes this thing. I reserve the right to say no to doing a movie ever again. And I reserve the right to say yes if I decide to. I'm not defining anything. I'm just open to whatever makes sense for me and my family at any given moment. I totally get that. So being an actor, it's okay. I don't have experience acting. I'm not a big time actor in a couple little background bit parts, but I do not consider myself an actor, but I do know the energy, the time, the effort that it takes to do that, to be a part of that industry. You really have to give and give and give. Now, lucky for Cameron, she's at this place in her life and her career where she's already proven herself. So she's not necessarily going to have to be going out there, hitting the streets, doing auditions all over the place. She has her audience. She has her success. She has her connections. She's good. But it's still a grueling process. And you've heard of stories of actors who have really given their all into a role. They disappear behind the role. And for some of them, it's hard for them to separate themselves even after. Like recently, Austin Butler, because I just did a story on him. He's in my mind. When he did Elvis, I remember him saying it was like, it took so much for him to kind of come out of that. He was talking like Elvis. I think even in some other stuff he was doing, he just trying to come away from that role, that character was a lot for him. She says she has one golden rule for herself: no more rom-coms, only mom-coms. You know what? That makes me feel really good. Because, okay, now let me preface this with, this is not a slight on anyone in the industry. It's not a slight on actresses. We all know the pressures and ridiculous standards and expectations that they have on actors and actresses in the industry, even more specifically the women. But it's nice to hear that she is embracing where she is at in her life, that she's not trying to fit some kind of mode so that she can, get certain roles. She's like, nope, this is where I'm at, and this is where I'm going to be. I'm comfortable with this. I'm good to go. And again, that is not dogging anybody. So she has her lane. She's like, no, I'm gonna stick to mom-coms. That's where I'm at right now. That's where my headspace is at. And I don't hate it. I love it. I also love other actresses continuing to push the envelope and get roles that are outside of just the mom role, like Charlize Theron. So I can appreciate everyone. Now, here's the other thing the other exciting thing about her coming out of retirement to do this movie with Jamie Foxx that I'm 100% going to watch. Is it coming in theaters? Because if it's coming in theaters, there is a 85% chance that I'm going to see it in the theater. That is definitely, it's checking off all the boxes for me. All of them. Oh, I lost the earring. Sorry, guys. I just love these earrings. Even though, I don't have this crazy elongated frame to rock them. All right. So, let's see. All right. So, she came out of retirement for Back in Action and for Shrek 5. So, if any of you guys watch Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which came out, was it last year? I think it was last year. Time is just going. But at the very end, there's I think an end credit, I believe it was, of them going back to a castle far, far and away, hinting at them re-entering the Shrek universe with Fiona, who's played by Cameron Diaz, of course. Michael Myers for Shrek, Eddie Murphy for Donkey, and all of the other characters we've come to love. I am excited, and I'll tell you why. So, the Shrek movies, for the most part, have all been bangers for me. Shrek 1 obviously set the tone. Shrek 2 was a wonderful follow-up and took the fairy tale story in a different direction without it feeling stale. Shrek 3 was a little bit of a miss for me, but I believe it's kind of because of who they were focusing on and who the story was more about, and it just didn't really hit for me. But what I liked about Shrek 3 was we got the family out of that. That's when they had little Shrek babies. And then Shrek 4 was Rumpelstiltskin, which, love it. I just love, there's so many fairy tales for them to pull from for this world. Stories that we grew up with, stories that we know, and how they have made it their own, or they made them villains, made them heroes. I just love what they did with this world, and I'm excited every time we visit it. And since Puss in Boots: The Last Wish surpassed the first movie, okay? So you have Puss in Boots and then Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. The second movie surpassed the first one. Light years. It was so good. Light years. So the fact that Shrek 5 is in development, I'm here for it. Bring it on. I would like this, please. Thank you. So I also wanted to kind of talk about some of her other rom-coms that I'm a huge fan of, that I love. So some of my favorite ones from her are The Other Woman. So The Other Woman is, in that one, she is playing a, I forget what her role is, but she's dating this guy. Everything's going great. He's romantic. They're loving it. And she surprises him one day at his house and finds out that he is married. And the really funny thing is that him and his her and his wife end up becoming friends. And then they find a third woman that he was, I guess, basically hooking up with, a younger lass, and they become friends. And the three of them coordinate together to enact the ultimate revenge. And it is so hilarious. Like, oh my gosh, I think Leslie, what's her name? Shoot, from Knocked Up. Dang it. She's in so many things. I'm so mad that like her name is like escaping me right now. But the girl is talented. Okay. She's in every like freaking funny, hilarious rom-com from like late 90s to early 2000s. But the three of them, the trio, I was laughing nonstop. And it's been a while since I've revisited this movie, so I think I'm gonna have to, because it's one of my top threes of her work that I love. Then you have Bad Teacher, which I don't know if that did so well. It was an R-rated comedy. I think The Other Woman too is an R-rated comedy, but The Bad Teacher is definitely an R-rated comedy. She is not a protagonist you're rooting for. She's kind of like a, what's the best word I can say? A butthead. No, it's hilarious because she's a teacher who definitely doesn't want to be there. And she's just looking for a sugar daddy, basically, or somebody who can pay for a lavish lifestyle. And she barely puts any effort into teaching. And it's hilarious comedy. And then there's competition between her and another teacher who is so annoyingly positive that you kind of are rooting for things not to work out for her, even though she's technically not the bad guy in the story. But that's another one. I feel like that one's underrated. Like I don't know if anyone really knows about Bad Teacher. Like, you guys should check that one out. Especially if you're into comedies and you don't mind R-rated comedies. It is hilarious. Justin Timberlake is in that one. And he does a pretty good job as the character. It's a really good movie. And what's his name? I can't remember. I should have probably pulled up names. I know the names of actors generally. Sorry. Then there is Charlie's Angels. There was the first one, and then there was Full Throttle. I think the first one was the best one, but that was from what's the 2000s, early 2000s, I think. I know they've done revamps. I know it was originally a TV show, but there was a movie that we had Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, and Lucy Liu as the Charlie's Angels, and their different personalities, talents, and looks really did a good job with the movie. In the storylines, it was such a fun time watching them. These movies were just fun. I haven't watched the new rebooted version with what's her name? Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? Kristen. I know it's not Kristen Wiig. I know it's not Kristen Durst. What is wrong with me? I cannot remember her. Twilight. Oh my gosh. I'm going to make a list next time. I'm going to have a list next to me because I guess sometimes when the camera's rolling, my brain goes, doo, 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 doo. I can't remember names. So, but the new rebooted ones with her, I have not watched the new one. I was interested in watching it though. I just never got around to watching it. So I need to check that out. Then there's Very Bad Things, which that movie is a dark comedy for real, for real. Cameron Diaz isn't the main character in that, but she does have a supporting role. It is still a very funny movie that it's one of those movies where it's like at every turn, these characters made bad decisions and all it did was make things much, much worse. Very Bad Things. Dark comedy. Trust me, you want to watch that. And of course, The Mask, which was Cameron Diaz's debut, which again, it was more Jim Carrey's movie, and she was supporting, well, she was the lead actress, technically, to be fair. But that was her introduction to the industry, I believe, her first major role. That's when I was like, oh, who's this person? I love her huge smile, her bright eyes. I'm a fan of Cameron Diaz. And I'm going to watch Back in Action. And I'm probably going to rewatch some of these movies that I mentioned to you, because The Other Woman, Bad Teacher, yeah, it's time for a rewatch. What about you guys? What are your favorite type of movies? I'm definitely into rom-coms. Obviously, I love action. And then you throw in like CIA agents and spies. You got me. You got me. So this is what I'm ready to watch. What about you guys? And what are some of your favorite Cameron Diaz movies? How about that? Let me know. Drop some comments.